Hey, what's up everyone? Paul here from dropshippingtitans.com, back with another live stream to answer all your questions about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. Let me adjust this light, it is way too bright. How's that? Looks a little better? Looks a little bright. Okay. But I'm here today sitting down to answer all the questions that you may have asked from this week. I have them saved up, I have them written down, and we're going to be answering them. But if you're here in the live chat, that's awesome. Ask your question in the live chat and I'll answer it for you guys live. So light's a little too bright. Maybe just get rid of it. Sorry, I'm having a little lighting issues. That looks fine just the way it is right now. Okay, so the way this works is that I teach something called retail dropshipping, where we sell items on eBay and Amazon. And then once the item sells, we buy them from other retail websites and ship them directly to our customers. So I know you guys have a lot of questions about how that works. So that's what this time is here. So here in the live chat, we have a bunch of you guys. So I'm coming to you today from Florida. I'm back in Florida. I travel full time in a camper van RV. So now we are on the west coast of Florida near Tampa. So let me know where in the world you guys are coming in from, and then let me know what your questions are about drop shipping. So I'll start it out with this question from Tassine, who's here in the live chat. He says, hey Paul, how would you go about buying your own FBA item on Amazon to build up oh, sorry. I don't know that much about FBA. It's not really my forte, so I do more drop shipping. RV3 Productions says, quick question. How do you do your bookkeeping for drop shipping? Do you use any software, for instance? That's a really good question. Yes, we do use software. We use QuickBooks, which is pretty standard for most bookkeepers. Most CPAs are familiar with that software. Very popular one. And that one is a little bit more hands-on. So the one we used to use was called GoDaddy Bookkeeping. And the great thing about GoDaddy Bookkeeping is that you can integrate it with eBay and Amazon and PayPal very easily. So it really pulls in a lot of information, a lot of it's automated. But ultimately, we decided to move away from that and move towards QuickBooks because that was what my accountant was familiar with. They don't really know GoDaddy all that well, so it's something new they have to learn. And actually my CPA took all the information from GoDaddy and put it into QuickBooks. So it just seemed like that would be the easier route to go, just go straight to QuickBooks. So Acebion PR 007 says, hey Paul, have you ever heard of Lowe's banning your account or something? I can't seem to process any orders like 2 days ago. An error always comes up. So with Lowe's, there's always issues with their website. They always have a lot of errors. And in recent months, they've become a little bit less tolerant of drop shippers. So in the past, they used to let you use an unlimited number of coupons. They used to let you put basically an unlimited number of items into your cart to get not only free shipping, they actually used to have free shipping on all items. But now they've kind of cracked down on that. They let you use less gift cards. And so that might be the error you're running into, is that they only let you use a couple of gift cards per day. Coupons per day. And the other problem is that their website is just really buggy. You run into errors all the time. And a lot of times you just have to wait. A lot of times you have to clear your cache or your cookies. Things like that tend to help. And other times nothing helps. And a lot of times you just have to wait. And it's just kind of ridiculous that their website is that terrible. I've called them about it. I've messaged them about it. And they just kind of shrug. And they don't seem to care that they are falling way behind when it comes to e-commerce. But this is the reason. This is one of the reasons why dropshipping works so well. Because there are products that are on Lowe's, for instance, that people want, but they can't get because they don't know how to use Lowes.com, because not only is it a website that not a lot of people use, but even when people go to try to use it, a lot of times they're unsuccessful because the website is so terrible. So we as dropshippers kind of it's kind of our job to figure out how the website works, how to get the best discounts on those websites, so that we can then pass along those savings and the buying opportunity to our buyers on eBay and Amazon, so that they can then purchase the item where they otherwise would have been unable to do so. So when people sometimes ask what value we add as dropshippers, that is one of the values that we add. We bridge that gap between the products that people want and the source of those products where a lot of people are unable to get them otherwise. What is the best supplier for eBay? I don't think there's one best supplier for eBay. There are certainly some really good ones. So in the past, Amazon was an excellent one, but it's become a little bit more saturated now. I still like Home Depot. I still think it's a strong one. Walmart, I still think works really well. But there are so many. I'm experimenting a lot more with AliExpress and seeing luck with that one. Banggood is a decent one as well. There are so many out there. And the great thing is, if you try some of the more obscure ones, then that gives you an opportunity to sell some products that other people aren't selling. Let's see. I'm live streaming today from my phone because I'm having some issues with the hotspot. So I just figured, you know what? I'm committed to doing this every week for you guys, so I'm just going to do this from my phone. Normally the quality is a lot better. Is top-rated seller level forever, or could it go down to just above standard or below standard? Says Abdel Mix 1. So yeah, when you're selling on eBay, you fall into, eBay is always going to rate your account. You're either going to be below standard, which is not good, or you're above standard, or you're top rated, and then there's top rated seller plus. Pretty much the only one you have to worry about is not falling below standard. Just do not fall below standard and you're good. As long as you're above standard, you are fine. And there is a spot on eBay that allows you to go in and see your metrics to make sure that you are above standard and that you're projected to be above standard. In fact, once you log into your seller hub, every time you log in, it's going to tell you, hey, you're projected to be above standard. And if you fall and so that if it warns you that you're going to fall below standard, you have time to fix it. You don't want to fall below standard. There are consequences for that, and it's just not a good place to be. But yes, if you are a top-rated seller, you could fall into the simply above standard category or below standard at any time. That's why you got to keep your account in good health and keep your metrics good. Okay, VA question, says eSoma. eSoma wants to know, what is considered full-time for a VA? How many hours in a day do they expect to work? What kind of expectations do you set in the beginning when you're just starting up? So a lot of questions in there. But the first question is, full-time work is 40 hours a week. Sorry guys, I'm going to try to find a thing for my phone to hold it. Yeah, 40 hours a week is a full-time position. So whether that's for a regular employee or a virtual assistant, and in the beginning, you can kind of get VAs to do pretty routine tasks that you just kind of learn how to do, and you're not really feeling like doing anymore. Pretty much, if you've gotten to the point where you're doing something and you've pretty much got it down to a system where you do the same thing every single day, then that's something that you could potentially outsource. And the benefit of outsourcing that is that it then saves you time, and then you could allocate your time better in another place. And I apologize for 1 second. The phone's gonna go a little crazy while I put it into this holder. Bear with me. All right. Turn this thing on. Cool. Okay, so Abdel says, can you tell us how to avoid paying taxes twice for items? So I think you're talking about sales tax. So with sales tax, you have to become tax exempt with your supplier. So each supplier is different, and you have to contact that supplier and ask them how you become tax exempt. Tell them that you are a reseller. You're going to buy these items specifically for the purpose of reselling them on another platform or somewhere else. And in that case, you do not have to pay sales tax when you purchase the item from that supplier, because Only the end consumer pays sales tax, and you are not the end consumer because you are going to resell that item. So it's all about becoming tax exempt, and that's what you have to do. It's different for every supplier. Okay. Okay, guys, only ask your question once. Okay, so Abdel says okay, sorry about that. I have 20,000 items on 20,000 item limit. Today I tried to list more and it was listed. I'm not really following you. So if you have limits on your account, if you've been able to exceed those limits, then maybe your limits were raised. So you have to contact eBay and just verify what your limits are, because they do change. Let's see other questions. Okay, so Kevin says, any issues with Walmart items being damaged in transit? I had more this past week that FedEx returned for this. So that's not Walmart's fault usually, that's FedEx's fault. Sometimes it's the supplier's fault if they're not doing a good job packaging up the items. Walmart, we've had some issues with that in the past, but they've gotten much better over the years. I'm not sure, maybe just had some bad luck. It does happen sometime. Items are damaged in transit. So what you have to do is, just do some good customer service in that case. You have to get a refund from Walmart, contact the buyer and tell them, hey, we got the item back because it was damaged in transit. Do you want a refund at this point, or do you want us to ship you out a new one? And then you can kind of decide what, or they can kind of decide what they want to do at that point. Let's see. Okay. Tassine says, I heard some sellers in the US complain that China sellers are charging sales tax, and they actually just pocket that sales tax. And pretty much they don't make any money on the actual sale, they just make money on the fake sales tax. So that used to happen. It doesn't happen as much anymore because eBay has not only cracked down on that, they've cracked down a lot on people charging sales tax when they're not supposed to. But also eBay is taking care of sales tax for us in a lot of cases. So even if the buyer pays sales tax, it doesn't go to the seller, it goes directly to eBay, and eBay takes care of it. So that probably still happens a little bit, but it's largely, to a large extent, gone at this point. So how are you handling cases where where you're not tax exempt with the supplier, or the supplier doesn't have tax exemption, and you are charged sales tax by the supplier? What do you do? So that in that case, you just have to adjust your selling prices for those items so that you cover not only the cost of the item, potentially shipping, and the sales tax as well. The sales tax that you pay to the supplier, like Walmart. All that has to be built into the price. Then you mark it up enough as well to cover eBay fees, PayPal fees, or Amazon fees, depending on what platform you're selling on. And then obviously more as well to actually make a profit with it. Change it to... Hey Paul, do you think it's necessary to change the title when listing from eBay from a popular retailer? I'm sure they already did their research on top selling titles before they listed it. I don't think they did. I have found that we do change our titles. I think it really is helpful. Even if, so let's say you're drop shipping from Walmart. You're drop shipping an item from Walmart. Walmart probably got that title directly from the manufacturer. Now, some of those manufacturers are good. They might have good titles for their products. Other manufacturers, I'm sure, do not. And I'm sure a lot of the manufacturers give it a kind of nice title, kind of like a branded title, and not necessarily a descriptive title. And on eBay and Amazon, it's really important to have a descriptive title, a title that actually contains keywords that buyers are going to search for. With those keywords in place in the title and in the description, and with a combination of a lot of other things like good photos, good item specifics, then when the buyer searches for that keyword, which is in your title, your item comes up. So that's what you want. So if you just use the stock title that comes with the item, let's say on Walmart, your item might not come up because it might not be descriptive enough, might not contain the right keywords that people are actually searching for when they're looking for that item. So that's why we do change the title, and we do use keywords in the title that we think people would be searching for when they're looking for those items. These are great questions, guys. How do you keep track of profit? Mark wants to know. I'm getting a lot of sales, so thumbs up for Mark getting a lot of sales, and my profits are getting lost when I transfer funds from PayPal to my checking account. I think maybe you mean like you're not keeping track of your profit. So you do have to keep good accounting. In the beginning, the smartest thing to do is to keep a spreadsheet where you have the money you get from the sale, how much PayPal takes, how much eBay takes, how much you pay the supplier when you purchase the item, and then you can even factor in cashback credit cards, cashback websites, so you get the total profit in the last column. That is really helpful in the beginning, because that will make sure that when you first get started selling items, when you first get started listing items at certain prices, you're going to know that sorry, I got distracted by Noah's comment, that you're listing your items at the correct price. If you're not keeping careful track in the beginning, you can kind of lose sight of those numbers, and you might list items at a price point where you're not making money or you're losing money. So the best thing to do is keep track of that stuff manually in the beginning. Now, as time goes on, you no longer have to do that, because you're going to know how much you have to mark up your items in order to make a profit. So you don't have to worry about losing money. And also, a lot of the software takes care of that for you. So like we use AutoDS, and AutoDS tracks our profit. It will tell you how much it is as long as you have it set up correctly. And again, for more like bookkeeping for our CPA, we use things like QuickBooks. We got Noah in here. I lost the comment, trolling me, saying I don't know, did I spell dropshipping wrong, or is there a typo in the title of this video? I don't. I'm doing this all from my phone today, so let's see. Hey Paul, if you wanted to generate $1 million in profit a year dropshipping, what would be your master plan in a nutshell? Well, it seems $1 million a year in profit is quite a lot of money. It would require a big team to scale up any dropshipping business to that scale. Could you do it on eBay? Theoretically, but I don't think it's very practical. I mean, eBay is a great place to start. eBay is a great place to make some really good money. Could you scale it up to $1 million profit? I don't think so. That would require a huge operation on eBay. I think with Amazon, you'd have a better shot. I think the only way to do $1 million a year profit would be something like Shopify. And even then, it would require a huge operation with a huge team. Abdel says, is there any way to make 2 accounts in the same laptop? So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with opening an eBay account and opening a second one. eBay allows you to do that. eBay allows you to do that. Now, you might be talking about stealth accounts, like how do you set up a stealth account? That you kind of, it's a little bit more advanced. You can't do it from the same kind of browser, the same login, the same IP address. So maybe that's what you're talking about. But you can create a second user on your computer. And as long as you have different IP addresses, that will work. There's a little bit more to it than that, though. Neil says, why won't Rake and Profit return my emails? So, Neil, I mean, I don't know what email you send him. Steve's a really busy guy. He has a lot of people that reach out to him. I don't know if I can help you. Send me an email. But I know he gets a lot of messages, a lot of DMs every day, a lot of emails. He's a really busy guy. He's doing a lot. So I'm not sure of the particular circumstances, but that might be why. Matt says, Paul, tell Chad to post that tofu soup recipe. Okay. Okay, so OJ John says, you said we should scale below $10,000 the first 1 to 3 months. Assume you're talking about Amazon here. What do you do to stop sales once you hit like $5,000 in the first 15 days of the month? So it sounds like OJ John took my course, because that's exactly what I described in the course. Now, if you hit $5,000 in the first 15 days of the month and you want to slow down sales, then what you should do is actually just raise the price of your items. That will make them less desirable. You won't sell as much. You'll kind of slow things down so that you don't scale up too high. It's a really easy way to do it. I never really liked putting my store on vacation mode. With Amazon, though, we haven't found that vacation mode's an issue. I've heard a lot of mixed things about vacation mode on eBay. I've done it myself, and my tests were kind of inconclusive. We came off of vacation mode and our sales were actually better, but there was a lot of different circumstances around that might have increased sales, so it was kind of inconclusive. The safest bet on eBay would be just don't use vacation mode. I've just heard too many horror stories about people coming back from it, and the sales just take a long time to pick back up. But with Amazon, we've seen zero problems with using vacation mode. Okay. Is it okay to have more than one eBay store? Yes, it is, but in the beginning, there's really not a lot of reasons to have a second store when you're first starting out. Concentrate on one, learn the system, get that store down, get that store really healthy, get some items in there, get a lot of sales. You know, people think they can start a second store to get around limits. They think there's a huge benefit to it. Really, you're just going to be dividing your time when you start a second store. So really just focus in on one. Get that one healthy, get that one strong, get that one going, and then you can start to think about a second one, but only if there's a really good reason to have a second one. I think the only reason I started a second store was because I started working with some other suppliers and just thought it'd be better to separate my main store, which I was primarily using with Home Depot at that time, and then started a second store where I was using some other suppliers, and even a third store when I started using some more risky suppliers like Lowe's, which we talked about earlier. And there was some risk there because, again, their website's buggy. It could result in delayed orders going out because we couldn't actually access their website, just things like that. AutoDS has a non-API function, and actually AutoDS just rolled out some new updates, which the owner asked me to update you guys about. So the first update is that when you click on the Chrome extension, the AutoDS non-API helper extension, you'll see now a new option where it will automatically upload items for you. So in the past, when you had to upload items, you had to click a button, just like you did with the API version, where you add the URL, it pulls in the data, and then it will, all the information rather, and then you just click the button and it lists the item. But with the non-API version, you then had to go to the Chrome extension and click another button. Well, you no longer have to do that. You just do the same process where you enter in the URL, click grab details, and then at the bottom, click schedule, and it lists the item for you, and then it just takes care of that. So click on the Chrome extension, you'll now see the option to do that. And there was another update that I can't remember. So I'm sorry, Lior, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I have it written down somewhere, but maybe I'll announce it next week because I just can't remember it right now. Do I do only drop shipping? If so, why? Thanks so much. I do only do drop shipping in terms of e-commerce. Obviously, I also have this YouTube channel. I coach students as well. I have the courses that I coach students in. Do some affiliate marketing here on YouTube as well. But the best thing about all those businesses, including dropshipping, is that I can do them anywhere. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I do live full-time and work full-time in this RV. It's basically the size of a van, but it's an RV, and it allows us to travel around the United States, explore new places, and I wouldn't be able to do that with a traditional business model where I have to be at a brick and mortar store, where I have to have a warehouse or even just a garage full of items. I'm not tied down to one location. We do the drop shipping on the road. We have Wi-Fi in the van. Usually it works. A little trouble today, like I said. And as long as we have the internet connection, we're good. So we're running all those different businesses I mentioned, including the drop shipping here on the road, which is pretty great. Can you stop through Minnesota and take me with you for a while? That depends. What's the temperature in Minnesota right now? Is Home Depot still safe to use for 2020? Yes. Bobby says 16 to 12 degrees wind chill. No, thank you. Oh, 16, negative 12 with the wind chill. No, thank you. Okay. Okay. Is Google Voice number good for eBay and PayPal verification? Yeah, I believe it is. I believe my phone number on file is a Google Voice number, but there's also apps you can use as well. So one I like for my phone is called Shuffle, and that's a pretty cheap one to use. It's an app on your phone. Let's see. Is buying a lot of low price items for feedback, does it have an impact on your account? So when you have a new account, what some people do is, the weird thing about eBay is that when you sell items, you get feedback from buyers. When you buy items, you also get feedback from sellers, but they're all combined into one place, your overall rating, which is kind of strange, right? Because it means that if someone has been buying items on eBay for years and years and years and years, you might have hundreds of positive feedback, positive stars, like 5 stars or 100%. And so then they go to sell something and someone sees that and says, oh, they must be a really good seller because they have 100%. But in fact, they've never sold anything ever. So it's kind of a weird system that eBay has, but that's what they do. So the thing that new sellers sometimes do is they get their account and they buy some items with that account in order to get that feedback, kind of like free positive feedback. And so, that sounds like it would help a little bit. I think it does create some buyer trust because at least they see you have some reviews and they're all positive ones. But ultimately, what's going to start the ball rolling of you getting more and more positive feedback is becoming a seller and selling multiple items a day, and that does add up. Okay. For Amazon dropshipping, I don't have a credit card, but I have $3,000 capital in the bank account. Is that a good amount to start with? You should be fine with that, OJ John. You will have to scale down at some point. At least you can get started. You should really consider getting a credit card for it if that fits with for you, a credit card, because that's really the best way to actually get enough sort of buying power to be able to fill all the orders you're going to get with Amazon. Another solution is Payability, which is a company that will forward your money or front your money to you, but you won't be eligible for that for at least 90 days, I believe, with them. 90 days into selling on Amazon. But $3,000, you will be able to at least get started with it. So can I have 2 accounts on eBay? The first one to dropship from US suppliers and the second one for Chinese suppliers. Yes, you can do that. Cool. So that's it for tonight, guys. Next week I'll be having another live Q&A. I do them every single week for you guys. So if you got any value today, make sure to smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell notification, because I do go live every single week, but I never have a set day and time because it's really dependent on where I have the best Wi-Fi. I should have probably waited a couple days to have better Wi-Fi for this one, but I really wanted to make the live stream tonight because it's been a little while since the last one. So you got to hit that notification so that you get notified when I do go live, so you don't miss the next live Q&A whenever I have it. Otherwise, guys, if you have any other questions that I didn't get a chance to answer, leave them in the comment section of any of my videos, and I will save them up and answer them during my next live Q&A. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now. See, now I don't even know how to end this on my phone. I think I hit this button.